Dalton residents, I am reporting for duty. And I am ready to serve as the first female and youngest person to be mayor here in Dalton.
We are walking all over cancer on our way to Springfield. Make sure you support the cause, support the movement.
A South suburban politician spends taxpayer dollars on a march to Springfield to promote her personal charity. But when we started asking questions, the party's over.
Fox 32 and the Illinois Answers Project, part of the Better Government Association, are investigating the charitable foundation of Tiffany Henyard, who is on 2 public payrolls as Dalton mayor and Thornship Township supervisor.
What we found is raising serious questions about the use of taxpayers' dollars, employees, and equipment. Fox 32's Dane Placco investigates where all that money is going.
Nobody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing.
Tiffany Henyard certainly isn't shy about attracting attention. Here she is starting a Dalton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City, later punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
Henyard's picture and name adorn virtually every public posting, both from Dalton, where as mayor she makes $46,000 a year, and in Thornton Township, where as the elected supervisor she collects more than $200,000 a year. But for all that money, Henyard's tenure at both has been chaotic, with firings, scandals, and a legal battle with the Dalton trustees over spending. So last fall, Henyard did something that would seemingly generate some good publicity, helping establish the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation to help breast cancer patients. And on the very day the charity was chartered, it received a huge donation, $10,000, from the Thornton Township Board, which Henyard presides over.
Taxpayer money shouldn't be paid into those types of things.
Stephanie Wiedemann is the former Thornton Township Chief of Staff whom Henyard fired shortly after taking over in March of last year.
It almost felt like a takeover, and a very aggressive one at that.
Since her firing, Wiedemann has been documenting township spending and says she's stunned by the taxpayer dollars funneled into Henyard's charity, especially this.
We got 10 days. We're going 196 miles.
Last October, Henyard led a delegation of Dalton and Thornton Township employees and political supporters on a march to Springfield to promote her breast cancer charity, which she documented on her Facebook page.
We're walking through Dalton. Hi, we're in Brightwood now. We are in Godly now. We in Bloomington, baby.
I can pretty much map out their entire Springfield trip on the township credit cards.
That's right. Henyard billed thousands of dollars in hotel rooms and meals during the trip to Thornton Township and Dalton credit cards. In addition, the videos show Henyard used multiple village and township vehicles owned by taxpayers to escort the caravan, including a flatbed trailer with a photographer, flying a drone, and a DJ.
We got our mayor right here coming from Dalton, Illinois, walking all the way to Springfield. Y'all make some noise for our mayor, the people's mayor.
But they didn't always walk.
We on motorbikes, baby.
At times, riding electric bikes.
Yeah, I see my bike.
Our township supervisor.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest concern.
Dalton trustee Jason House has been doing battle with the mayor since she took office.
Very disturbing to hear these things or to kind of see some of the receipts that appear to be connected to it. And I think the taxpayers really deserve better than that.
And then there's the merch.
There's a shirt. One of the t-shirts.
Along the way, Henyard sold and gave away t-shirts and hoodies, also available on her charity's website. A week before the trip, the township paid $17,000 for specially printed hoodies and t-shirts, but won't say what they're for.
I think that everything she has initiated has been something to promote her, something to get her name in household, something to get people to buy into voting for her.
Our investigation found at least $11,000 in public funds spent on that trip. But both Dalton and Thornton Township have been slow or unresponsive to open records requests. So what was the purpose of the 10-day march to Springfield?
I have created a bill, which we're going to speak before the Revenue Committee, to give everybody $5,000 on their income tax when they file. If you are suffering from cancer.
A noble goal, except the Revenue Committee wasn't meeting when the group arrived in Springfield. Henyard did later testify at a committee hearing in Chicago, but so far nothing has come of her bill.
I think I'm doing a damn good job on leave.
So we went to a recent Thornton Township Board meeting to ask Henyard some questions about all that spending.
I've never ever been bitter to the news. Max, this is my olive branch to the media. Can you guys reach out to us and ask us our opinion before you post it? I would appreciate it.
And so we did.
I'll ask you a few questions.
Okay.
But Henyard wasn't anxious to talk about her charity.
Why did you and the board vote to give your foundation $10,000?
I'm the face of the foundation. My name is nowhere, sir.
Say again?
I'm the face.
You're the face. What was the purpose of going to Springfield?
Thank you, guys. Hey, she doesn't have any more comments, guys.
We're going to talk.
She doesn't have any more comments. Thanks, guys.
That's Keith Freeman, whom Henyard hired at both Dalton and Thornton Township and was part of her Springfield walk.
Look at Keith, baby!
Freeman also filed paperwork for the charity bearing Henyard's name.
Why are you using public money for your personal charity?
$17,000 for insurance. Why?
And with that, her security detail hustled Henyard upstairs and blocked the staircase with a table. So we tried asking another employee who went on that trip.
You went down to Springfield, and what were you hoping to do in Springfield?
You need to ask the people that handles that. I'm not the one that handled it. I was just riding the bike.
We need more officers on the streets. We need our streets repaved. So to spend that kind of money on a charitable event or supposed charitable event really doesn't seem like the best use of tax dollars.
We also sent Henyard a detailed list of questions about her charity and how the money is being used. We've not yet heard back.
I hate when we complain about not getting an opportunity to be in a leadership position or role to spearhead our neighborhoods and cities into a better direction. And then we get the opportunity to do just that. We get that opportunity that we so wanted, right? And what do we do with it? We squander it. We fumble it. You just blow it. I actually think it's more than a disservice to the community that they claim to be helping. It's a setback. I live in the city of Detroit, and one of the shining examples of exactly what I'm talking about actually lives here. You may have heard of him. His former title was Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, and at the time of his induction into the mayor's office, he had damn near every vote of confidence from the citizens of Detroit, young and old, okay? He had the city sipping on his Kool-Aid, but what happened? Well, turned out that Kwame was a power-crazed, arrogant, and self-absorbed monster, okay, that thought he was above the law and that no one could touch him. So he, alongside his buddy Bobby Ferguson, ended up getting caught up in a RICO case for racketeering, bribery, extortion, and fraud. And he was convicted on 24 counts, I believe, out of 32 that he was accused of. And both of these idiots were sentenced to multiple decades in federal prison. Now, they were both released by former President Donald Trump after they both were reportedly all spiritual now. You know, isn't it amazing how criminals just turn to God all of a sudden and become a whole new different being, right? Become a whole new different person when the water get cut off. But anyway, both of these clowns were released back in 2021, okay? And their story reminds me so much of the city girl mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Listen, if you want to laugh, then just go watch one of the videos that have been recorded from every town hall meeting that Tiffany Henyard has ever been a part of.
Just the entire meeting is set up for an argument.
All right, you finished? Y'all black. Look how we fight. African-American community fighting like this over what? A title, a seat? I told you all our bench warmers. Everybody got to go. The proof right here, an email stating that they canceled the doggone credit card from the bank.
So we can
I'm
see
gonna
it.
give it to all y'all, including the public. You see how we be quiet and let you do your little rant? Be quiet. Let her talk. She got the floor.
I am not justice. You're not telling me
it's her
to be quiet.
time. You have to be quiet. Every night I gotta prove my love. Every night I gotta show y'all what it is. It's sad. They lie because they can't beat me. I keep telling you, they trying to run a campaign on lies.
Keep putting it on the agenda every period. At what point, if it keeps voting down, is there something that says it cannot go
Nope,
on?
I'm gonna put it up on the agenda every board
okay.
meeting. And we talk about this and we go back and forth. As you can see, people are so out of order, so disrespectful. You got to give respect in order to get it. Y'all walked out again at the last board meeting. Y'all walk out on everything. Y'all got to sit here and sit in the fire. If you don't like it, so be it. But that's what discussion is for. We go back and forth, hopefully find a happy medium. That's what I do as a leader. You guys just talk and talk about nothing and ain't producing nothing. And that's my problem. Y'all talk, but ain't putting in no action and no work.
We know most people say definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It's insane.
If it's set up for argument, then why take the bait?
Tiffany Henyard, let me tell you now, these meetings are hilarious to watch. But if I was a citizen of that city, I would absolutely be ashamed at the leaders that we put into power. These meetings are local catastrophes, okay? They are literal local catastrophes and show the disconnect and negative discourse between the board, council, and Mayor Tiffany Henyard. And these are your leaders or their leaders. If you listen to the way Tiffany Henyard talks to the members of her council, it's clear she has no respect for anybody that's not on her team. It's her way or the highway. You get down and lay down. She's a perfect representation of what happens when the people elect a ratchet city girl as their mayor because she plays hip-hop music and dresses fancy and looks like them. Single mom, looking good. The city of Dalton isn't even classified as a city but a village because they only have about 23,000 citizens. It's one of the poorest villages in the states, and it's about 22 miles of South Chicago. And Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who was elected back in 2021, has been running wild ever since. From blowing budget money on goofy photo shoots to spending the taxpayers' money on private flights, expensive hotels, and top-of-the-line transportation, this is what the city of Dalton elected. Now, you might be asking yourself the very same questions that I asked myself when I saw these headlines start popping up in news articles. The one question that I asked was, how the hell did Mayor Tiffany Henyard ever get elected into office?
J.F. Kennedy said, ask not what you can do for your country, but ask what you can do for your country.
What? The citizens of Dalton were so enamored with having a young, cool, hip-hop, and relatable mayor, right, that they overlooked every red flag that was right there in front of their faces. Sounds just like Kwame Kilpatrick for the city of Detroit all over again. I'm telling you. So I want to read this article, and I'm going to show you. I want to give you all some details as to exactly how Mayor Henyard is pimping out the Dalton residents. Let's get to it. Says the first female mayor of tiny Illinois village who hired child gang rapist is slammed for living like a royal after demanding $300,000 salary using taxpayer money for billboards, hair, and makeup, and passing law so that the next mayor will earn just $25,000. This is all a part of her grand master plan, so that if she puts into law that the next mayor will only earn $25,000 for that position, who's going to want to run against her? Nobody, right? It's all a part of her plan. Now, how can she do this? Well, she can't exactly do that, right? They're not gonna let her get away with that. But she's trying it, and the fact that she's trying it should tell you everything that you need to know about this city girl mayor. Let's read the article. She's the first female mayor of a tiny Illinois village. She's been slammed for living like a royal at taxpayer expense by taking a $300,000 salary and racking up huge expenses. Glamorous Tiffany Henyard was elected leader of Dalton, a village of 20,000, in 2021, but has since come under fire for what many see as her excessive spending. She regularly engages the services of a professional hair and makeup team, and stylist before public appearances and photo shoots for the county's taxpayer-funded billboards, which often feature the 40-year-old and what have some see as shameless self-promotion. So basically, she's running around putting up billboards all over the city, self-promoting herself, which technically you're not even supposed to be able to do. We're going to get into that in a minute. Henyard is always snapped in tasteful, expensive-looking outfits. She has posted photos of herself getting out of chauffeur-driven SUVs, with one Instagram post even appearing to show her with a dog laden with jewelry. Henyard, who often refers to herself as God's favorite, has now sparked further outrage by proposing a new law that would cap the next mayor's salary at $25,000 unless she remains in the role. You can't make this up. Many believe the proposal, which has been branded illegal, is an attempt to dissuade anyone from running against her in the 2025 race. Now, trustees in her town have filed a lawsuit against her, alleging forgery and claiming she withheld financial records. Your trustees are against you. That is a very, very, very bad sign. This is her right here, snapped in her little pantsuit. There she go. Oh, there she is, being chauffeured by the police out of her luxury SUV with the coat on. You got to show y'all the coat. Nails did. Oh, this is the picture they were talking about with the dog. That's not a chain. That's not a chain, y'all. That's jewelry on a dog. This is what she's spending her money on. Photo shoots. This is what she's doing. While the city is being run into the ground, this is what Mayor Tiffany Henyard is doing. She's taking photo shoots at the city office. Tiffany Henyard, the first female and youngest mayor of Dalton, Illinois. This is her former campaign worker, Lavelle Redmond, who she promoted as a code enforcement officer. Now, here's the problem with that. I'm going to read it right here. Let's get to it. That guy is a convicted child offender. Let's read it. The scandal is just the latest to hit the mayor after she was slammed for hiring her former campaign worker as the town's code enforcement officer, despite the fact that he is a convicted child predator. What are we doing? What are they doing over there in Dalton? This is who y'all elected, though. This is who y'all wanted to see. Oh, she a woman. She a woman, the first black lady in office. Down with the people. She cool. She play R&B and hip hop music. That's what y'all wanted, right? Okay. Says she also raised eyebrows after spending hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars of security details, including one for an event with senior citizens and another occasion where she pulled cops off the street to perform a protection outfit. Among other expenses was a trip to Las Vegas where she racked up $3,000 airfare, apparently to attend a conference. And this one, I remember, was captured on the news, and they interviewed her for it. Matter of fact, I'm going to play the clip right now.
Is Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
But then they running y'all, tell y'all this look fictitious story.
Would you like to just do an interview with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, let's go. I mean, yeah.
In addition to leading Dalton, she also serves as supervisor of Thornton Township.
You make almost $300,000 between your two elected positions.
I do not. I don't know where you got that number from.
We got it from her own village and township records.
These are tax dollars.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
The credit card records do shed some light on tax dollars spent at several restaurants near the Strip, including Cafe Hollywood and Hot and Juicy Crawfish. WGN Investigates obtained copies of statements that reveal village officials have spent more than $24,000 at restaurants in just 1 year. Remember, we mentioned Henyard was also supervisor at Thornton Township. WGN Investigates obtained copies of that agency's credit card statements as well. They show township taxpayers also spent money on the Vegas trip on everything from steak dinners to hotels, and $3,741 just on Henyard's round-trip flight.
Right? But I shouldn't have to sit up here and break all this down.
Need receipts to understand what's going on.
We couldn't help but notice the red hat perched in front of Mayor Henyard throughout the meeting. It's from the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, which, by the way, was apparently a stop on the Vegas trip. $303 billed to Thornton Township taxpayers.
So it says questions have emerged over how she funds her apparently lavish lifestyle, especially since she has repeatedly swerved questions and dismissed criticism by branding trustees for the township as haters in her TikTok videos. This is a mayor who was on TikTok, y'all. This is what she's doing with her time. She's spending her time on TikTok and addressing haters rather than doing her goddamn job. Are you serious? Are you serious? She's lost the support of her trustees, which is a terrible sign. Terrible sign. Dalton trustees say she has not explained the need for her eye-watering security budget. They also claim she issued checks without proper authorization. Let's get into some of these clips.
But would you advise one of your candidates to do something like that using taxpayer funds?
No, not using taxpayer funds.
Okay, so if you've driven one of the expressways in the south suburbs recently, you've no doubt seen one of these giant billboards. They feature the name and the face of a smiling local politician. What you may not know is the money for these billboards is coming out of taxpayers' pockets, and that's raising questions for Tiffany Henyard, the Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, who has already come under fire for spending public money promoting herself.
Dane Placco has the latest chapter in his ongoing investigation into Henyard's questionable spending.
Take a drive to the south suburbs and you can't miss them. 4 giant billboards featuring Tiffany Henyard's name in large letters, along with her picture, smiling down on the thousands of cars going by on Interstate 57 and the Bishop Ford Expressway. What are they advertising? One says fresh produce, another senior services, and this one simply says we offer general assistance. There's a phone number, but you wouldn't know what it's for unless you can read in teeny tiny letters, Thornton Township Supervisor, as you're speeding by.
These are the billboards that have gone up along the expressways.
We showed the billboards to Bert Odelson, an election attorney who's been working in Illinois politics for 50 years.
When I first looked at it, I thought, what is she running for now? Because that's what it shouts out.
Odelson, who represents a political faction opposed to Henyard and Dalton, says it's clear the billboards are promoting more than township services. He says they're essentially campaign ads.
This is a blatant attempt to promote herself politically. The township should not have paid for these if they did, and I'm sure they did.
They did indeed. Bills obtained by Fox 32 under open records laws shows Thornton Township paid more than $10,000 for the vinyl signs themselves, and more than $12,000 to Clear Channel Outdoor Advertising for 1 month's rental of the billboards.
What was your reaction when you saw it?
Well, first of all, I didn't know anything about them.
Thornton Township trustee Chris Gonzalez says the board was never consulted about the billboards, which he says needed their approval.
Kind of some of the first things that popped in my mind is, what are we doing? This isn't a big sale. We're not selling cars here. I mean, if it's informational, then it should be informational. I mean, there's so many other ways we could have spent that money that would have, directly helped people.
This isn't the first time Henyard has used taxpayer dollars to burnish her own personal image. In fact, on other occasions, she spent a lot more.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Earlier this year, Fox 32 showed you how Henyard spent tens of thousands of dollars using employees and vehicles from the township and from Dalton, where she also serves as mayor, for a week-long walk to Springfield to promote her self-named cancer charity, which is yet to file required reporting. And you can't turn your head in Dalton or Thornton Township without seeing Henyard's picture or name. It's on all the government-owned vehicles, buildings, even on the rugs in the township, where we found a Tiffany Henyard 2024 calendar featuring all the important dates to remember, including her birthday.
I would be having a fit if she was my client, telling her not to do this.
Veteran Chicago political consultant Delmarie Cobb says there would be nothing wrong if Henyard were using her own political funds for those promotional materials, especially the billboards.
I actually had a candidate years ago who was running for mayor of Dalton, and that's what we did. We bought billboards along the expressway, because if you're coming and going home all day, and one of the things I always say about billboards is they're working when you're asleep.
In 2011, state lawmakers passed a law banning the practice of politicians putting their names on publicly funded signs, spurred by these tollway signs featuring former Governor Rod Blagojevich. That law does not extend to mayors or other elected officials, but election attorney Odelson believes the billboards do violate state election laws.
It's a crime. Yeah, you're using public funds for something that taxpayer dollars shouldn't be used for.
And just when you think you've seen it all, take a look at this. When the first billboard went up last summer, Thornton was misspelled as Thornton. Another sign had to be ordered, apparently at taxpayer expense. Dane Placco, Fox 32, Chicago.
So far, Henyard has not responded to any of our questions about the billboards.
Of course she hasn't
tomorrow,
responded.
Dane has another
Look,
Henyard investigation.
This chick is running wild, okay? She's running wild. She thinks that she still thinks that she's on the press runner. She thinks that she's a part of a fashion show. That's what she's using the taxpayers' money as. I will be absolutely livid. I will be absolutely over it. Let's look at more. There's more. They tried to, this mayor was so bad, okay? She was so bad that they tried to have a recall on her, all right? They tried a recall. The recall failed, unfortunately, all right? But they tried to have a recall because they really wanted to get her up out of there. However, it did fail. Let's watch the video from it right here. That's how bad she
Now
is.
to campaign 2022. In a recall fight in Chicago's south suburbs, people in the village of Dalton voted to kick the mayor out of office. But as CBS 2's Jermont Terry reports, the mayor is not going anywhere for now.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor.
Just over a year after getting sworn in as Dalton's mayor, voters recalled Tiffany Henyard Tuesday.
We listened to the community. The community has asked us, what can we do? They were uncomfortable with lack of transparency. They were uncomfortable with the spending.
Village trustee Jason House believes the referendum to recall the mayor was necessary and fair.
We are a democracy. The people have spoken, and we really are going to do everything we can to make sure that their voice is heard.
But the mayor took her fight to court and won in the lower court. This ruling by the Illinois Appellate Court days before Tuesday's election said the recall election could go on, and those votes can get counted but not certified.
What you have here is absolutely a legal roller coaster.
CBS 2 legal analyst Irv Miller says despite the recall prevailing, it's unclear where the votes stand at this moment.
They've asking for time to review it. They could say after they review it in September, hey, these votes count, this mayor's out of office. Or in the alternative, they could say, hey, listen, this wasn't a valid election. This mayor's staying right where she's at.
Mayor Henyard says, I remain confident the appellate courts will affirm the recall initiative is unconstitutional. But sadly, because the vote was allowed to happen, our community is more divided than ever. As we await a final decision from the appellate court, I will continue to do the work I'm doing now to serve the people of Dalton.
I think our community is really, really suffering.
Now, Mayor's spokesman says many of her supporters were confused and opted not to cast a vote on the recall. But we're told only 100 people left that section blank on the ballot, while more than 400 votes separated the recall decision. The appeals in this case could go all the way to the state Supreme Court.
They want her out of there. Translation, get your ass on. Translation, Get her up out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. The residents have spoken. They're tired of her now. She was able to stay in office basically from what I just heard on a fluke. On a legal fluke, on a legal loophole. That's how she's able to still keep her seat. But the residents want her up out of there, and for good cause. You running around spending the taxpayers' dollars. You blowing it on your own personal life and your personal vanity, right? You spending all this money on personal chauffeurs, photo shoots, jewelry for your dog, which I'm sure you paid for with taxpayers' dollars. Putting up billboards all over the city for what? You're already the mayor. Can you take your ass in the office and get to work? If you listen to the way this woman speaks, she's so very unprofessional. But that just tells you the mindset of young people. That tells you the mindset of people that put these kinds of people into office and then don't think nothing about it because they look like you. That's all this was. They looked like them. She looked like them, right? So they're like, oh, she look like us. She gonna be for us. No. When she got in there, she was for herself. Now she running wild. And now y'all want a recall. Y'all voted for her. Y'all put her there. Y'all put her there. This is absolutely hilarious to me. We're gonna see how this plays out in the coming months. But I have it on good authority just from watching this bulk of information that whoever runs against Mayor Tiffany Henyard come 2025 is likely already pretty much going to get that seat. She's doing everything she can to make that position useless. She's doing everything she can to take away the monetary gain or the monetary payout for that position. But I think whoever runs against her come 2025 is a shoo-in. It's a shoo-in. Okay? Look at what she's doing. Anyway, look, that's all I got for now. I will see y'all in the next video. I'm going to keep my eye on this because this is absolutely fascinating to me. But this is what happens when you hire a city girl as your mayor. See y'all in the next video.